Welcome back to the John Trading channel. Bitcoin right now is trying to break below this really strong support, but is it going to do it? Find out in today's video. Plus, Ethereum is also at this major support level, and we've had some upticks to the positive side of the MACD histogram, but is it going to hold? Plus, I have a lot of crypto news to go through with you today, so make sure you stay tuned until the end of the video. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed, and leave a comment if you're enjoying these daily crypto videos. Starting with some crypto news. Look, Bitcoin is tanking. I knew this rally was over. See you at 10K. Bitcoin is now retesting two major long-term support levels at the same time. The 200 weekly moving average and the 111-day moving average. This is a bullish divergence on the daily RSI. So you can see right here, we're testing the 200 weekly moving average, which is this blue line, plus we're testing the 111 daily moving average. We had this really strong break above the 200 weekly. Now, we retested it a couple of weeks ago, and now we're also retesting it again. We're making a small bullish divergence as the price is slightly going lower, but the weekly RSI is continuing to tick to the upside. So a lot of people think that this time Bitcoin is over or going down to 10,000, but there is a lot of support in this level, which I'll show you on the daily time frame plus the 4-hourly time frame, so don't go anywhere. And again, something big has changed with today's price action. No, wait, nothing has changed for Bitcoin. You can see using this parabola and using some logarithmic scales, you can see we're always coming back to retest the lower band of this logarithmic scale. And look where we are today. We're currently above this lower band. Maybe we come down for a small little retest in this area before we then look for massive higher prices to the upside, breaking the all-time high for Bitcoin and the entire crypto market. A lot of people think that one small little bar to the downside, oh no, we're down 5%. That's not how you need to look at it. You need to scroll out and actually look at the 4-year Bitcoin cycle because it's showing some extreme bullish signs. Next, new presidential candidate Ron DeSantis, the current regime clearly have it out for Bitcoin, showing that the US government is clearly not currently in favor of Bitcoin, but this might be extremely bullish because if they're not currently in favor and they're just raising the debt ceiling, our dollars are worth cents to what they used to be. My grandfather always used to talk about how $100 used to fill his entire car up to the brim with shopping groceries. Now, $100 is basically a small packet of meat and a couple of vegetables. It's absolutely disgraceful. As president, we'll protect the ability to do things like Bitcoin, which is showing some extreme adoption in the entire world. Plus, we have breaking news of Nvidia. Shares skyrocket to new all-time highs after earnings report surpasses expectation. A lot of people were expecting now that crypto's on the downturn that everybody's not buying as many GPUs as they used to be, but bam, we came in with AI, we came in with ChatGPT, which uses a lot of computational power, and you can see that Nvidia, being the #1 graphics card producer, is making massive profits. And could some of these profits then spill over into the crypto market, or could they actually be showing what is going to happen to the crypto market ahead? Massive, massive gains. Now let's go over to the Bitcoin price action. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed, and leave a comment if you're enjoying these daily crypto videos. So right now, as I've been speaking, we did have this support area for Bitcoin in this level. Even through here, when we ended the 60-day cycle, we never actually closed on its low, so it was starting to look a bit bullish. But you can see we are lately having this candle, which did close below this area. But you will see when I go down to the 4-hourly time frame, we're still basically in that trading range. You can see that this last daily bar that's already been open for over 6 hours has had a bit of a retest to this low area, but it's starting to push again to the upside. So we're going to keep a very keen eye on Bitcoin and the entire crypto market, because if we start to sweep these lows, we could see a wedge to the downside where prices might come down into this area here around that $24,000 per Bitcoin. But we need to look at how price action is actually reacting before we just make predictions. We can't just say, as I've been speaking about in other videos, that all this game is a probability game. You can never say with 100% certainty Bitcoin is going here and it's going there. You need to use probabilities as it may be a 60-40 or even a 50-50 chance of probability of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all these other cryptos doing the move that you expect. And that's why you need to have a really strong risk to reward, and even having that 50% probability is going to leave you with a massive positive traders equation. If you can get that 2-to-1 risk to reward with even a 50-50 strategy, you'll see that you have a really solid traders equation. I know people that trade with a 30% probability, but they're using a 6-to-1 risk to reward ratio, and they have massive traders expectancy in the market, and they've been doing this day in and day out for years. So this medium-term exponential moving average and this short-term exponential moving average, all this price in between here is known as the value zone. So you can see we've come into this value zone multiple times and had sell-offs here. And lately we tried to poke above this value zone, but again, we did have a bit of a sell-off in this area. And as I've been talking about, a lot of people buying at the bottom of this trading range are looking to sell at the top of this trading range, which perfectly coincides with that value area, and people looking for confluence. They're using that trading range price action. They're saying, yes, we buy low and we sell high. Then they've also got confluence in the market because they see that this is the value zone to, again, you can see that the EMA is slightly pointing to the downside. And it does tell us in this particular area that there's a high probability of trades going to the downside. That is just the unfortunate probability. If you look back here, where was the EMA pointing? This upward slope on the EMA of the daily was telling us that buying opportunities are much higher probability in the market. You can see through here, we had that sideways action where people were buying low, selling high, buying low. But then through here, we did begin to tick to the downside. So you need to be looking at what the probabilities are. Now let's move over to the 4-hourly time frame where we can really set up this trade right here. Now let's come over to the 4-hourly chart for Bitcoin. So as you would know, through this area, we did have that downward sloping EMA, which shows that the higher probability was shorts to the downside. But what's been happening lately, we've had this sideways trading range action. We've gone slightly up, slightly down, and potentially we're going slightly down right now before we then continue slightly up. We're still in that trading range price action. We haven't quite broken out, but it is starting to look slightly more bearish for Bitcoin, and I'll show you exactly why. So in this area, we were in that trading range price action where people are looking to buy low in this trading range price action, and people are looking to sell high in these areas. Reason being is you can see this EMA. We're basically squiggling sideways, and when we're sideways, it means we're in a trading range. When we're in a trading range, you need to be buying low, need to be selling high, and you need to be scalping. And that's potentially what's happening here. We're down below this normal area, but we're still at this around this support area through here. So we still could be in that trading range price action. It's not yet completely confirmed, but we will know by tomorrow or the next day. So stay tuned for that video. So you can see slightly down, slightly up, slightly down. People are just buying and they're scalping. They're getting in and out of the market. We did have this break below this trading range that we have been holding back since the 14th of May. So over 10 days, 11 days, we've been holding this trading range. Now we did have a little bit of a break below. Potentially what has been happening now is we've got this break below. What happens when supports get broken through? Once a support gets broken through, it will act as that resistance level. And you can even see it right here on this bar. Price came back up, retested this support, which now flipped to a resistance, and then we had another push to the downside. So a lot of people were looking at this trade to make an easy 2% on Bitcoin, which I completely wouldn't blame them in this particular trade. But again, as I was saying, we're still in this support zone on this left-hand side. We haven't completely broken below. If we do get a break below, that's really where I'll be saying, okay, we're now in that shorting market for Bitcoin. There is no more longs. What I was looking for, and as I spoke about recently, is we're in a bit of a symmetrical triangle. So through here, we could have made a bit of a symmetrical triangle pattern through here. So you can see we started to try and break above, using it as support once it got broken through, but then we came straight down in this market. So again, a symmetrical triangle pattern is a 50-50 pattern. It doesn't have overly bullish or overly bearish consensus, but once we get a breakout in this apex type area, usually you'll see a bit of a break. It will come back, retest this apex area before it will then continue to the downside. And that's really what I'm looking at right now. Are we going to get that continuation to the downside. If we do get a bit of a push here, then we start to stall out. It might be looking that we're in that short market. So we need to be watching. But again, we did break out of this trading range. So we could be using even that as a resistance level. This bar right here was acting as a bit of a resistance level. Will we come back, retest these EMAs? As you can see, we're starting to slope to the downside through here. There is that value area between these EMAs. So we will know what's going to happen in the next couple of days. The market is still quite boring. Even down here, people expecting massive pushes to the downside, but everything's being bought up, pushed back, being bought up and pushed back. So it still shows that we're still in that trading range price action. Now coming over to Ethereum on the daily time frame. As I've been talking about, we did have resistance in this area. Resistance, resistance, resistance. What happens when resistance gets broken through, it then acts as support, and then we continue in that direction. So we got that positive side up break. Then you can see in here, we were supporting, and even now it's actually looking more bullish than Bitcoin. So Ethereum could be signaling to us where we're actually going to go. Bitcoin is down here in this area, whereas Ethereum is still nearly holding this support. Down in here, that is a really strong support area. As I've been talking about, this bar was the end of the 60-day crypto cycle. And if we closed on this low outside of this support range, then that would be bearish. But you can see we've never closed below this support range just yet. We've still got 17 hours to still make a bit of that upside tick. And it's showing us that we haven't closed below support yet. So we cannot confirm that we're in that bearish market. Even on Ethereum, we're actually more in that trading range. It hasn't really broken below these trading range areas, as I'll show you in a second on Ethereum on the 4-hourly chart. Again, in this EMAs, right in here is the value zone. Every time we've come in, one sell, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. So we tried to break above, use it as support to continue to the upside, but it's showing we're still in that trading range price action, and we will know which way the price is going. If we can get it to close back in this support area, then it is still a bullish sign, and it is not bearish just yet. Although we are in that 50-50 pattern, as I spoke about the symmetrical triangle. We did finally get that uptick to the upside on the MACD histogram, but you can see here, we did get that one uptick 2 days ago, and then we did get a bit of a decline because yesterday was that downwards day. So we haven't had that continued bullish momentum, but we did get a break above the zero line, which is showing a little bit of bullish momentum. Now coming over to the 4-hourly chart for Ethereum. So in these areas here, we are in that trading range where people are selling high, selling high, selling high, and they're buying low in these areas. We're currently right at this trading range area. You can see we did try and have a bit of a rejection to the downside, but there's a lot of buyers here. There's a lot of buyers here. Reason being is they're looking left. They're saying we've been in a trading range price action for the last more than 2 weeks. So we can't just instantly just break out. People are still expecting this trading range price action, and it showed on the chart. People are buying low, looking for a retest of this area and then selling high, buying low, selling high. That is the key to a trading range. Again, it's shown in this EMA just moving sideways, slightly up, slightly down. Right now we're slightly down, but in a couple of days we could be slightly up and then slightly down and slightly up. So we need to really get that solid break to the upside. You can see once we did get this solid break, we did have a bit of a retest in this area. Now, as I've been talking about, this was initially a resistance area. What happens when it gets broken through, it then acts as a support. So there were a few buys up here trying to get that 1%, trying to push back up to the $2,200 per Ethereum, but we didn't quite get it. Instantly, we got that rejection through and we got a massive downside push, then continuing back down to the bottom of the range. So people are still selling high and they're buying low right in this trading range price action. So we will know in the next couple of days if we get that solid downturn. But it just has not been confirmed. People are still in this trading range price action shown by these solid blue lines in this area here. We haven't got that breakout. In yesterday's video, I was talking about that this breakout could be the one that we were looking for. And through this area here, I was looking and thinking, finally, we're getting that move. We're getting a break above resistance. We're then going to use it as this support level, but we didn't get that follow through right here. You would have had to see bars just continuing to the upside. But again, solid break through there. You would have got out of your trade in this area. You would have lost maybe 1%, which is completely fine on the trade. And you would be looking for the next trade at a 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So the price is still in that trading range. We haven't confirmed the bullish or bearish momentum yet. We will know in the next couple of days, which I'm really waiting for. I'm waiting to get my hands into a Bitcoin or Ethereum trade, but we just haven't got the signal that I'm looking for. I would have actually been long once we broke above this body of the bar here. So if this continued up and we got a break in here, that would have been my entry point, but we just didn't get it. So I'm still waiting on my hands to say, what are we doing and which direction are we looking? A lot of traders right here are buying because we're at the bottom of the trading range, looking for the retest back up to the top of the trading range. Then they'll sell, look for a test back and test back. So again, this trading range price action. That's all I have for you for today. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment if you're enjoying these daily crypto videos. I'll see you in the next video.